The Renault 9 and Renault 11 are small family cars produced by the French manufacturer Renault for model years 1981A Circumflex 1988 in saloon and hatchback configurations. Both were styled by the French automobile designer Robert Opron. Variants were manufactured by American Motors Corporation as the Renault Alliance and Renault Encore for the North American market as well as for the Colombian market from 1983A Circumflex 1999. The car was produced in Turkey until 2000. The models use a transverse front-wheel drive engine configuration and feature four-wheel independent suspension. They were chosen European Car of the Year for 1982. As well as the Motor Trend Car of the Year from Motor Trend and Car and Driver 10 Best from Car and Driver for 1983. There were 3 facelifts given to the Renault 9/11 during its career. However, the Renault 11, that was released in 1983, was only available in phases 2, 3, and 4. There was never a Phase 1 Renault 11, which leads to some confusion. The Phase 1 is the original model released in 1981 as the Renault 9. Phase 2 was released in 1983, when the Renault 11 was also introduced, while the more aerodynamic Phase 3 appeared in 1987. Finally, the Phase 4, which was not sold in most of Europe, was released in Turkey in 1997. This final revision had more rounded head and tail lights, as well as ovoid body cladding around the bumpers and boot lid, which aimed to give the car a more modern look. It carried an Broadway badge as well as the Renault 9 designation, but note that Broadway had already been used on special editions of the earlier phase models. The Renault 9 was launched in 1981 as a 4-door saloon, while the 11 arrived in 1983 as a 3- or 5-door hatchback. Both had been developed under the Renault codename L42 and were designed by Robert Opron. Renault had begun the conception of the Renault 9 in 1977 as a 4-meter model to fit between the Renault 5 and the Renault 14. Opron conceived a traditional 3-box design to appeal to the traditional customer and avoid the poor reception that had met the Renault 14's styling. Exhaustive consumer studies suggested that buyers rejected innovation, resulting in a nondescript design, albeit of modest elegance. By the time the models entered production, Renault had assigned more than 500 people to the project, logging 14,500,000 hours of study and testing, constructing 44 prototypes, testing 130 engines, and test driving prototypes more than 2.2 million kilometers. Both cars were also more conservatively engineered, although they retain front-wheel drive. Renault abandoned the Opron transmission in sump engine which it had shared with Peugeot Citroën in the Renault 14, in favor of its in-house power unit A Circumflex, the venerable C-Type CLA copyright-on engine with an end-on mounted transmission. The Renault 9 was awarded the 1982 European Car of the Year, while the Alliance appeared on Car and Driver's 10 Best list for 1983, and was the 1983 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Although the 9 and 11 cars had different names and body styles, they were identical under the skin, and were intended to jointly replace the older Renault 14. The 11 was also distinguishable from the 9 by its front end, which featured square twin headlights, which had been introduced on the North American Alliances. The 9 also received this new front end in 1985, and both models were facelifted for a final time with matching nose and interior upgrades for the 1987 model year. A version of the 9 was manufactured and marketed by American Motors Corporation in the United States as the Renault Alliance, and bearing a small AMC badge, with 623,573 examples manufactured for model years 1982A Circumflex 1987. AMC offered the Alliance as a 4-door sedan, 2-door sedan, and as a convertible, beginning in 1984. The Renault 9 and 11 continued in production in France until 1989, a year after the launch of the Renault 19. However, production continued in other countries, with the end finally coming after nearly 20 years when production in Turkey was discontinued in 2000.